Hi, this is Gil Robles, and this video is going to be about overcoming your weaknesses. Actually, I made another video about that in my other YouTube channel, so really more or less this is about fighting for your painting. Once you're aware of what your weaknesses are, you start a painting where you attack your weaknesses. You don't run away from them. You look at the things that you're weak about. It could be whether it's drawing hands, drawing feet, drawing a certain part of the anatomy, perspective. All of these are weaknesses for me. All of these are things that are difficult for me to draw. And one of the other things is what I'm working on right now is drawing and painting a female from the imagination. Because there's kind of like a rule when you do these, when you do a female, in illustration or in comic books and so forth, that female needs to look appealing. The genre really is, when you look at different artists who do this, it's really like a kind of pinup thing as far as the comic book women they draw. And this is one of the comic book characters that I've seen out there on the shelf. I've never really bought any of the comics, but there are times where I think that the character, something about the character looks appealing and so forth. So anyway, this is a challenge for me, drawing the female figure and making it look appealing and doing it from my imagination. If I'm working from life, that's another issue. That's not as difficult for me as coming up with these ideas or coming up with this drawing kind of cold. So or just from the imagination. So when I do something like this, I have to have a strategy. I have to plan out my painting. So I did a preliminary drawing. I knew the pose. I knew how I was going to do this painting. And the only thing I didn't work out was what I was going to do with the background. I wasn't sure about that. But I knew that I wanted to draw this figure, and I knew that I wanted to draw this figure in this pose. And so, this was a challenge that I put before me. Now, drawing and painting is a challenge to begin with. So when you add to that drawing and painting something that you're not comfortable with, adds another dimension to that challenge. And like I made this correction right now, I noticed that I kind of let this go. I don't know how I did that, but the head just wasn't sitting right. But still, these are challenges that you can find in a lot of different paintings. I've done this before and other things, but maybe I kind of think that maybe because I felt the challenge of having to do a good job in something that was so difficult for me to do to begin with, I kind of didn't see certain things, or maybe not. But in even within the painting, drawing here is a challenge, especially one that has so much volume as I'm trying to put on here, and so many different curls and turns and things, and how to do this successfully. But all those are challenges that I attack, that I try to do my best at, and that's really all you can do. Is you face your challenges, you do it with the idea that you're not as good as you want to be, but you can grow to be. So there's a sense of humility when you're facing the challenges, as well as a sense of confidence that if you go ahead and meet the challenge, then you're going to be a step closer to overcoming this particular weakness in your art. You're going to be discouraged along the way. You're going to do some stuff that may look pretty crappy to you. Maybe even during the painting, you're going to be discouraged. Now, I definitely was, and that definitely happens. But even beyond that, there comes a time where you're going to have to fight for your painting. Norman Rockwell, the famous illustrator, had talked about there's always a stage in the painting where he had called the "oh my God, it's awful" stage. Where he sees maybe drawing mistakes that we can't see, but he's more aware of it, or because he's at a level of competency that I'm not at yet. but he sees different things. So it's a given that I'm going to go through that, and I kind of want to, because I know that when I'm going through that, then I'm pushing past the things that are difficult, and I'm making something that's that is more worthwhile. Now, when you push past your weaknesses like this, when you strive to overcome your weaknesses, what you're going to do is eventually look back at the different things that you've done and say, oh my God, I didn't believe I did such crap before, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because it shows that in fact that you've grown, that you've done better, and that you're a much better artist than you used to be. And that's really who you need to be competing with. It's a big temptation to look at the things that other people are doing and become either jealous or upset at yourself that you're not at a certain place. But you know what? The only person that you really compete with is yourself. Whatever somebody else does, that's the particular journey that they're on. They have to deal with the struggles that they have to deal with. And just like Norman Rockwell had to deal with the struggles that he had to deal with, it doesn't matter what level that you're on, you're just going to have to grow as an artist. If you reach a point where you don't feel like you have to grow, then I kind of feel like, then you just become stagnant. Then you just are not doing anything that's really worthwhile. You're just repeating all the things that you've done. But if you continually attack your weaknesses, then you will see the growth in your own artwork. You'll see the growth in, in the work itself, in your own artwork, like I said. Well, anyway, so it's a thing to remember that, as an artist, you're always going to be a student. A master never stops being a student. A master is continually learning. So it's going to take calm when you approach a painting and you approach your weaknesses. It's going to take patience and perseverance and persistence on your end to be able to overcome whatever weaknesses you have and to push past it and to become a better artist. And that's really, if you're watching this YouTube channel, I know that's your goal. You want to become a better artist. I want to become a better artist. And you know what? This is the thing that you need to do in order to become a better artist, is to recognize what are the challenges, what are the difficulties that you have, and then pursue those. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't play up to your strengths. You don't you don't recognize your strengths, but it does mean that you don't just rely on them. So anyway, that's pretty much it. You can see my video as it developed. I made some changes along the way that weren't included in the video, but I included them here in JPEGs. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the video. But if you like this video, please go ahead and hit like or share the video. And also, I want to announce that there are going to be changes coming up in this channel. I've already changed the name to Making Art in the Busy World. Anyway, if there's anything that you liked about this video and want to share, please do. I'd love to hear the comments. Bad, good, or indifferent, whatever it is, help me to make this channel better. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.